Hey there, Silvertongue Devil here, and today we're going to be carrying on my bow run. We're at cycle 6. Let's go! So yeah, some of you guys have been following along. Yep, always have the nerdy glasses on. Now, hopefully, none of you will be able to hear the chat with the new technology that we have, which I believe, if my memory serves, and it doesn't often, is all thanks to a nice reminder from our own Mr. Dave Rhodes, who reminded me about bone conduction technology. So now I have nothing jamming up my left ear, which means now I have no excuses. Hope you're ready with that pie, Von. Right. So, again, going on what we were talking about last time, I am at a decent amount of health. Not full, we're a bar off. There's a holy armor there. I don't want to take that because we're going into the pits, and as I remember rightly, there was plenty of blood scattered around the level. I wouldn't mind going into the pit with a decent amount. Cheers, Von. I wouldn't mind going into the pit with a decent amount of stuff. I think we've got plenty. What this will also do as well is what I'm answering in the game should match up to what's coming through on the chat if I've got the delay correct, which is difficult, but we'll see how we go. Right, so 2 guys there, 1 guy at the end. I don't want to be involved in that just yet. That could be quite a difficult fight. Got a couple of options though. I could go up there and fire down on them. I could go onto that little side plinth there and fire across at them. I could go up there and fire down on them, but I run the risk of alerting the other one. Or I could ignore them completely and start dealing with what's in the tower. Now, I like the look of going up here, you know. And that should alert the other one. Ignore them completely, yeah. Cheers, John. That didn't work out so well for them. So the other thing that we're going to play around with tonight as well, because I didn't know, I'll be honest, is this whole mid-range thing that Beanie was talking about. LG, you are a gentleman and a scholar. Thank you very much. So the other situation that we've created by being here as well is that guy's isolated. And if we can peg him with shots from here, we shouldn't alert anything in the building. And even if we do, it's probably going to be archers and they're not going to have a line on us. Any melee stuff won't matter. Got to hit him though. Anytime. There we go. Whee! Good shot. Oh yeah, I got slow-mo. I got slow-mo back! So that's that guy dealt with. So, again, yeah, so what I was saying with what Bean was talking about, the reason why I've never looked into that is because as far as I'm concerned, you're either short range or you're extremely long range. The middle ground, I never tested the points on it because I just assumed, like an idiot. Steady. Cool. That'll do. Now, it's at this sort of time. Come on. This is always a nice spot to fire from. Nothing can charge at you. Looking into there anyway. If I fight from down here, well, that's not really going to help us. Up on those little crenellations, tower spires isn't a bad place. Whew. Feeling it tonight. It's all this 3D hearing that I've got now. Well, Purist isn't till a Saturday. That's terrible. That was terrible. Hey. Oh. What could we do with that? Fucking nothing. So how were you playing it then, John? Were you doing the same as what everybody else is with, or higher scorers are doing with Fletcher, and just concentrating on Orphan's pits and bosses, I assume? So yeah, we've alerted one. Let's not make this a fair fight. Boo! Oh, you're killing everything. All right. All right, I see you. No, to be fair, John, I expect nothing less. You have been one of the biggest whingers about slow-mo for a very long time, so I expect amazing things. So from what Beanie told us, we need to be here. Hey, it's a nice addition. What can I say? Let's see if we can get some sort of headshot goodness out of this guy without him getting into that mid-range that we were talking about in the last stream. Now, I would have said, without testing, if we're in the 900s for damage, or probably even the 800s, I would consider that long range. I think we might have to do some testing, you know. There's one. 3205. 32. So that was a 500-point shot. Normally a headshot would be about 300 at that range, at close, really close range. What else we got here? Good if I get headshots. They'd help, wouldn't they? I have got slow-mo. Must remember. So one of the other things, once you take fire, don't know if everyone's aware or not, archers will usually take 2 to 3 shots before they get either bored or come and have a look. Usually, if they're that close, they will come and have a look at you as opposed to teleporting into range if they're close. But these behaviours do have a tendency of changing, so you can't always rely on them. But like, for instance, that one was close enough, so he walked on him. And the other one died. Good news for us. Right, there's our ghost. I don't think the ghost saw us. I can hear on the left. They didn't. It's amazing. Now that knight does have a path all the way round to us as well that left, so he might be coming up. On later cycles, he definitely would. One of the things that we can do at this stage as well is we can clear a little bit of that courtyard and lure some of the nastier hand-to-hand combat enemies up here, and we do that by cutting it off. So we know there's nothing down there, so even if we fire over this, we're not going to alert anything. Most of the enemies that are in there, some of them won't have spawned yet. So let's see if we can take this guy out. There's his buddies. They will either walk or teleport into view, possibly up onto a rooftop. Is he where I think he is? Nope. Must remember I've got my slow time back. I got my slow time crutch back. I think that one was in the shadows there. Let's check your shadows. So you'll see a lot of these hand-to-hand types are coming all the way around from that courtyard. And this is probably a little less risky a solution than trying to fight them all through that courtyard and getting swarmed. There's an archer wandering around there somewhere. Good evening, Sean. So, just having a nice slow warm-up. Get me using my slow time again, which I should be abusing. And you'll see that I'm actually working the outsides here. Good ones to take out at this point. We'll have that guy's lunch. I was going to have the one below him down there, but we'll wait for him to teleport up. No worries. I'd have you writing up lines, but you do way too much for me on the Facebook, so I'll let you off. Again. So it's at about this sort of stage, cycle 5, probably 6, if I'd have got them. So one of the ways that I think about cycle 5 is now we can get value out of every holy armor, because every holy armor that we lose, not that we want to at cycle 5 or 6, but every holy armor that we lose is now the equivalent of 2 life. So now is the time to start being precious about holy armors, or at least trying to be. Trying not to put ourselves in silly situations. Now, that's not a great scenario, and we also know that we've got ghosts there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put an arrow nice and high, so it alerts 1 or 2 of them, and go here. I think, see if they all come in. If more than 1 come at a time, and they didn't stagger their entrance in like that, I'd probably drop an unholy... Yeah, I'd probably drop an unholy wind there, you know. I would probably drop a hand of God here, because I know that they're going to come into this area. The reason why I know that is because I've alerted them and broken sight with them. Because I've broken sight with them, they can't see me. So in that circumstance, they can't, the walk isn't close and they can't walk to me anyway. So if they want to come to me, they have to teleport. And the teleport will be based on the immediate area. They won't teleport on top of me like a banshee would, and they won't teleport on top of me like a cupid would. If you imagine from where that door edge is to possibly where this bit is here, is like a no entry zone for them to teleport into. Probably even a little bit further than that, actually. So they have to teleport into this back bit. They may potentially teleport a little bit higher. Now, why didn't I then, in that case, alert them here? Well, that was a waste. Stunning effect. Hand of God, isn't it? It's beautiful blue bubble. If only Beanie was here to appreciate it. So the reason why I didn't alert those ones and then move to here is because my zone of control, I suppose, would be in most of the areas that they could teleport into. They could possibly teleport into the corner. Where do we know that monks like to go and usually end up dinging us? On rooftops. What you have in view is where monks can teleport to, which is why if you alert them and look away quick, they will either ignore you and just pretend that they saw nothing and play on, or they have to teleport into an area that you are looking at with your gaze. Now, the other thing to note as well with that is the reason why sometimes they may not behave in the manner that you want them to and teleport exactly where you want them to is you may have been a little bit slow, and you may have, as you were coming around here, if you are looking at that, they may teleport onto that as you are spinning back into this corner. That's the only reason why they might not behave, is because you've given them a valid target. 2 seconds. Kaylee Cat, I shall answer that. I missed a bit of that. So at the moment, I am at cycle 6. So cycle 5 and cycle 6 is where you start getting the skulls under the cycle number. The skulls under the cycle number mean that you are losing that amount of life per hit. avoidance. We're going to stand around. Nope. Okay, so we know those knights are going all the way around. We also know they've got an incredibly long distance to get to us. However, they can be incredibly quick at later cycles, so we've got to bear those in mind. But guess what? They'll probably make their way through most of that courtyard and where we were a minute ago. And these are all, oh, there they go now. Now, they'll probably lose interest in a minute or two. No, looks like they're still coming. So we'll get up high. And let's construct some long-range headshots, shall we? Let's go up here. Well, that's a nice shot. Lovely. Yeah, as far as cycle players, oh, I can talk to you whilst I'm trying to peg this guy. It's going to take me ages. So, yeah, as far as cycle players concerned, the number of skulls underneath the level when you pass through levels, return, or go to is equal to the amount of life that you will lose per hit. So if this knight was to throw an axe at me right now and dinged me, I would lose 2 blocks of health. That's the same for cycle 5 and for cycle 6. And then every 2 cycles, it goes up 1. So we start taking double damage, in essence, at cycle 5 and 6. At cycle 7 and 8, we are taking 3 points of damage per hit. At cycle, what did I say, 7 and 8. At cycle 9 and 10, oh, we can do better than that. We can do much better than that. Maybe we can't do much better than that. It's a little bit higher, and I don't think he'll throw. No place to move, so I would have to block that, and we all know how dodgy the shield can be, so that's not a good place to shoot from. This will do. This looks like this will have to do. So cycle... yeah, this will do. Cycle 7 and 8 would be 3 points of damage. Cycle 9 and 10. That's not a great... this isn't a great place either because I'm using the locomotion stick and I can't move. These are usually, if you're going to get into duels of any kind, very bad places to be because you will have to shard or teleport. And the shard isn't exactly... because if you don't have to block that, you're just negating any risk of taking a hit, and that's what we're all about, hit negation. So, where were we? 7 and 8 is 3, or triple damage, I suppose, per hit. So that means you would lose 3 blocks of life per hit you take from a source. 9 and 10 would be 4. 11 and 12 would be 5. 13 and onwards is then 6, and it is then capped out. You cannot take any more damage than 6 per hit. We do, as we were talking about in the last session, have Beanie to thank for that. I don't think Hail of Arrows is really going to do much for us, so let's take a volley. Is it not? 5 and 6 is 2. Did you just have a chat, Faf? I think you did. That wasn't even in VR. Yeah, 9 and 10 is 4. 11 and 12 is 5. 13 is max. And then we don't need to worry about it anymore because it's not going to go up any higher. So, well, I say we don't need to worry about it. It's still bloody horrible. You'll see that I used the teleport arrow to jump across that. Yeah, right. Tell me about it. Nope. No, you will. It's the double damage does not kick in until cycle 5, the actual beginning of cycle 5. Anything where you took double damage, would you be actually taking 2 hits, like John's just said? Alright, we've dealt with our ghosts. Let's get these guys tidied up. We can always use this little bit of crenellation. Might have to duck here. a little. If I can, and now here, in this situation, we know that being on these crenellations, those dudes can't get to us. Potentially, the knight can throw an axe at us. He's too close into the wall to be able to hit us throwing from the left, or if he arcs his axe out left, he'll probably hit the pillar if he throws his axe out right. But we want to avoid him throwing any axes by taking that dude out first. Like that. And then that leaves his little goon squad, damn it, open for an easy take. He says, okay, what we got left? There was a archer around there. I'd like to deal with him first before I take that long range headshot on the knight. Where are you at? One thing to note. If an enemy makes line of sight on you, I swear there was a black-robed archer around here a minute ago. Maybe they took him out already. Probably not. If an enemy is alerted by your presence, it is never him that alerts his buddies. Enemies don't alert other enemies. They're not like, hey, let's check it out, other knight, or I don't know. Oh dear, that was bad. Check it out, other knight. There's a dude pointing an arrow at me there, and he's just sent one whistling by. Should we go and, gang up on him and do him over? They don't talk in this game. They're not on those terms. So they will always, if you can maneuver yourself into their line of sight / sphere of influence, they will come at you, which is why you'll see me doing little movements to try and alert just the one. Like, for instance, let's say there was someone just in the crook of that doorway there, and I wanted to just alert the one. I would move little movements on the locomotion stick to get his attention. As soon as I've got one attention, you don't go any further forward. You either pull back or pull back real far with a teleport arrow. Now, we're in a pretty good shape here. We've got plenty of life, he says. Plenty of life. We've got plenty of Hand of God. We are full on freezes. It's about this sort of time now where we've got plenty of health across the level. There's enough health in there to top us off. Remember, we are not at this stage, or at any stage for that matter, ever going to pick up a Blood of the Lamb when you've got one of those left. It can be, it's riskier the further you go through. I saw a very good comment from Harry today on the Facebook group, the Master Harry, saying that don't think about the levels as to how much life you would lose, but how many hits you can afford. So at the moment, I know I can afford 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 because of Grace of God, and then a 7th because of each of those 2 bars. If I had that last pip of health, there wouldn't be much difference to that. So that's another reason to avoid it as well. We've also got plenty of arrows going into this pit. Oh, and it's a good one as well. Plenty of... Is it a good one? Plenty of arrows going into this pit. Yeah, it's immolation. Oh, damn it. I've got plenty of life going into this pit. It's about this sort of time now where skeleton archers, hopefully we won't get them, but skeleton archers will start being very aggressive and very accurate and very fast. And I think one of the things... Let's get out. One of the things about skeleton archers that makes them particularly tough as well is their ability to somehow shrug hits off and not stagger from them, which is very annoying. Right. So we're looking at... So we know we're dealing with archers. In this circumstance, we're going to come here. Where do they have to go? They have to walk there. Now, we know we've got a quiver when we come out. Where did that other one go? There it is. So we'll move back a bit here. He'll probably teleport into that bubble, or at least onto there. Or he'll fire his 2 to 3 shots and get bored. What's he going to do? Here he comes. So he's a walker. He likes walking. You'll see this is risky, but I'm waiting for the shot before I move. The further cycles you get, the faster those arrows get, and you shouldn't do that. Ever. Or freeze them. Always a good idea to freeze a skeleton archer. Now, it's a bit risky at this point because we don't know what else we're dealing with. I would say we're dealing with skeleton archers, but we don't know. And that information is something that we need to find out sooner rather than later before we start clearing much more. I know, but this is how it goes. This is how you play it. Thing is, the one thing that I was thinking about was how fast, I mean, it was crossbow play as well, how fast Beanie was playing Purist the other day. And I looked at that along the lines of like, there's me trying to be careful, but maybe me being careful and being slow is giving the enemies even more opportunities to attack. These dark fights are never a good proposition because they just make identifying the headshot harder. And if you haven't hit the enemy with at least something, you can't see that life bar. That's always nasty too. Now, I want to know what we're up against here because we haven't seen anything else. And I would like to see something else before we even... Like, at this stage now, knowing that we're dealing with archers is a risky proposition on a Orphan. We don't know what the other enemy is down here. As I was saying in the last episode... We'll have these guys there. As I was saying in the last episode, knowing what you're up against in a pit, because there's only ever going to be two kinds of enemies coming at you. There are, if you watch my pit survival guide, that'll give you all of this information as well. There are always going to be ghosts in the pit. There are usually going to be abominations in some shape or form in the pit. If they are not scattered about, they're in the form of coming out of skeleton archers when you kill them. So ghosts, abominations, and incubi are always in the pits. Abominations, sometimes that's not the case. I've seen times where I've had knights and archers and no abominations to be seen, but I think that's a glitch. So as a general rule, abominations, ghosts, incubi, always in the pits. And the Orphan, providing you have her unlocked. The other two slots are reserved for either standard archers, skeleton knights, or white knights, with no exceptions. That is what you will find in the pit. I think she's up there again, you know. We didn't do so well with her up there last time. So let's see if we can get some more information on what we're dealing with here. I have, on one or two occasions, seen just archers. Okay. What we're going to try and do now is we're going to try and get one of those. Now, see how slowly I'm creeping forwards? This is all damage mitigation. Alerted him, we pull back. If I look in this area, he'll probably either walk to or teleport to that area. Don't worry at this stage about body shotting. They can only take one headshot. Could have got two with that. Don't worry about body shot and abominations to stop them as long as you get the headshot on the second hit, because they can only take one headshot at this stage. Now, just because I'm not 100% sure that she's up there and she could be down there, we're going to have a look this way. See what we can clear out. I reckon she's down there. Listen how she's stopped now, which means a despawn. Now, we still don't really know where she is, and we're not going to be able to find out yet. I don't really want to deal with all of that yet. Is there an incubi down there? Two. I hate immolation. It may be a combination of things. It may be because you're more familiar with immolation. Familiarity is always a good thing in any of the levels that you do. For me, I don't like immolation because you haven't got the distance to work with. I can't retreat. Hate is such a strong word, and I usually reserve it for other things, so I shouldn't really use it. But accidental teleporting arrows into lava happens. It just does. Now, although lava only takes 1 damage off of you, regardless of cycles, it will still take 1 piece of armor off of you, which, again, although is only 1 block of armor, could potentially be guarding you against a lot of life loss. I think she's around there, you know. Now, let's see if we can lure some of these guys. It sounds like we've got some ghosts on the way as well. See the angle that I'm getting here on this guy to make sure that even if I miss the shot, it doesn't go whistling down that little walkway and alert the archer. I want to be doing all of these things on my terms. And now that I can hear, can you tell that I can hear? I'm being super careful because I can hear the things. Now, there's 2 ways we can deal with this. We could make use of our freeze arrows, jump in there and slaughter the lot of them, which for where the orphan is and what we've cleared, she's only really got 2 ways that she can go. So I'm quite tempted to do that. So let's err on the side of caution still. Okay, that changes things. But I'll pop that one in there. Now I have iced that guy. Again, not something that I like doing, but at this sort of distance, he would only take 1 headshot anyway. So even freezing him isn't costing us any points. Probably a bit lazy play, to be honest with you, if anything else. Let's get that ghost drawn out. Did we alert another one on our left? No. Hearing things. Oh, no, I'm not. Look at that. The left ear works. Yes! Bone conduction technology, ladies and gentlemen. It just works. So, now, here is an exception to my rule. I would still leave that until the end, just in case we get a double pop out of it. But this is the exception to my rule. We are obviously going to grab that blood of the lamb on the way out, because if we leave here without it, well, it's wasted. And we don't like waste. So let's see about snaking a few of these guys. I would have... Oh, there she is, look! So let's slow her down a little. Put a pop in her. Now, notice the distance that we're at here. Because she is at a safe distance from us, and she is confident in her abilities to teleport away, the little darling, she will stay there. Putting the Hand of God on just gives us a little more time. And we want to be getting all the headshots out of her. It's all worth decent points. Each one of these shots at that distance is worth the 36 gold. And I would say in the region of about 800... Well, no, 1,000 points plus. Because they're normally a headshot with one of those is worth 500. Right, let's make this archer look... No, let's not let this archer look like an idiot. Let's continue. Let's get this guy out of the way first. And yes, Sean, this is very slow for me, but I mean, I'm trying to break down all of the things that I'm doing as I do them, and how I would do them at high cycle. This is about the sort of time that I would start slowing things down. But if I slow things down a little bit, it allows me a bit of time to explain. I could fly through this. I would probably get popped for a bit of health, though. Okay. We'll leave those for now. He's going to go and do his shimmy shimmy yar up there. I know where a lot of the incubi are. There's our last one. So we've got 2 right at the back, 2 in the middle distance, and this one here, which is nice to know, because we might be able to deal with this one without alerting much else. Yes, we can. Oh, hello. Where are you going? No, that is quite right. Why lose health when you don't need to? See the IDU glance that I was talking about last time? I hit my shot, hold slow time. I'm looking around, keeping a check on the things that are closing in on me and where they're coming from. Some terrible accuracy on my part, I might add as well. But to be fair, I don't mind that happening. That's the dude that we're after. We are going to end up alerting those ghosts, but we will deal with them on the fly. So head on a swivel, watch your slow timing, always a good shout. Now, about the whole wasting of life thing, no, you shouldn't, but there are times, I don't think LG does this, and that's why he's as far as he is, or why he can get as far as he can. There are times, boredom is the wrong word, it's more along the lines of complacency, and my complacency, I speed up, because I want to get things done. But that was a terrible first shot, that. And a second, and a third, and a fourth, and a fifth. Now notice how I have waited for his fireballs to be in flight before I have moved. This is a good opportunity to deal with him while you're staggered. And in the mist, this is what we were talking about last time. In the mist, let's see if we can get a gauge on points here. So 24829. So we'll say 4829. Body shots don't matter. That headshot did. 4829. So what's that? 2000. So we could push that distance out even further. Better watch out for these fireballs, haven't I? Snookered myself almost there. So we can push that range back a bit further because I know that we can get about 3,200 per shot or somewhere in that region. But we've got to be careful with this, otherwise he'll teleport to somewhere that we don't want him. Oh, something else just teleported. Where's that? Oh, it's you. Well, that's not too bad. He's teleported. Yeah, don't get that. Good. He's teleported closer to us, and he's teleported near an area that we've cleared. Now, again, these points won't be quite as good. As, again, the general rule is, if you're shooting them... Oh, he's terrible. You are shooting them in the mist. That's what you're aiming for. By hitting him once or twice, he'll go to that sort of range. Sorry, I should have checked that. We'll have plenty of opportunity to check the points. What we want shots like that. He has disappeared, don't worry, he has despawned. But he won't do when we start clearing all these bits and pieces out. The problem is you have to temper these incubus shots with how much of a risk it is to make them. Now, I know we can, if we shoot that arrow there, we can lure that one down. That's one less ghost out of the way. Oh, look, we got a double prizes. That's a bit risky. We will try and get those two as well. So if I aim for that pillar, I'll get them both. We can deal with two. Two's all right. Now, we do, if we were sensible at this point, and we are, because we're all sensible, we don't want to be shooting those guys at range, but we also don't want them to close in. I would advise going over here so that any stray shots don't alert that archer. Right over here. Give yourself plenty of distance. We'll also get up here as well, so stray shots don't bring that guy coming. And whilst we're waiting, because we're bored and getting complacent, we'll have a couple of shots on him. Not bored. Complacent. There we go. Now let's go and have a check in there. Make sure there's any more nasties. There's two. Back in the pit with yous. Right. That's still a nasty situation that I do not want to alert from this angle. There's a possibility that if I shoot an arrow down there, it may alert the ones at the bottom. I don't want to take that chance. What I might do... Oh, look at those solid candles there. If I get a little bit further forward, and I've alerted something else, well, that's okay. One more enemy alerted and down. I think our next place is going to be up there, because we've started clearing a fair amount of the things up there. We can check that. There will be things up there still, though. We can check that by going around. Now, this is one of those occasions I haven't been counting, how many archers we've seen yet. But this is looking like one of those rare occasions where I've only got archers in my pit. Whether it's double the amount or not, I don't know. This happens rare enough that I do believe it's a glitch. So whether this means we've got an increased number of actual standard archers or an increased number of abominations, I couldn't tell you at the moment. But as I say, as of a general rule, confirm your surroundings and make sure you know what you're going up against. Because let's face it, if you're up on a pit, if you're... I think we might ghost here. Oh no, not ghost there. Oh God. If you are going up against a pit... Oh, that was a lovely shot. If you are going up against a pit and you are dealing with skeleton warriors and knights, that is a lot easier prospect than going up against archers and skeleton archers. And you would play the skeleton knights and knight pit a lot differently and a lot more easily than you would the skeleton warriors and archers pit. So knowing what you're up against is a big part of the battle. You'll hear the likes of me, and I'm sure Sean would agree, and LG definitely so. Oh, look at this. Isn't that lovely? Just wait for that guy to come back up. They won't die in this lava. This lava is only ankle deep. They don't plunge through the level. I don't think there's any points where they plunge through the level. So if you drop them off of the edge in immolation, they are coming back up. Wait for them. Unless it becomes a long time, in which case they aren't coming back up and you just... Wait, I don't want to send arrows sailing up and over for that very noise. But the fact that we've alerted one of them by walking up there is good. Because what we will do is we're going to get the points out of him. And we're going to bring him, we're going to run him all the way back. Now, no, that holy armor. Holy armor! Oh my God, that's a really good item. I should grab that now. No. No, 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 no. Do the pit in its entirety. Grab the holy armor at the end. You are then taking the holy armor into a riskier, a less risky situation. Unless you are like on death's door. You do not want to be grabbing holy armors. Because my fear would be, at this stage, that I would lose that holy armor at some point within this pit. Now, that's probably not the case, but if you play like that, then if it drops, you will always have plenty of holy armors, and you'll be able to preserve them as well. Right, let's see. We seem to be pegging this guy pretty nice. So we are at 6194. This is probably a little short. 6194. 61. So that's 2,800-ish for that per shot. And if I get a little further back, further than I can actually go, we'll check again. Wow. I find I don't take stock of the last, all of those numbers, and that's giving them time to teleport, so we'll go away. But yeah, you can see there, I didn't pick that up, good. You can see there, that was 2,800 points for a single headshot. And those guys, this is why I described them as points points. They're a reasonably easy fight. No, I don't think you're going to get alerted. They're a reasonably easy fight. Even at these stupid distances, the head is still quite a big target. But this is... So the reason why I'm educating you as much on pointers as I am on survival is they go hand in hand. There's a reason why LG absolutely smashed the bow last season, and it's because he does all of this. Now, I say that he's a coward, or he's embracing his inner coward, or whatever, in a very joking sense, because the fact of the matter is, if you want to play well, and you want to getting far will get you more points. Playing at distance will have less risk. Combine those two factors together, playing at distance with less risk allows you to get really far. And then the only thing you have to worry about, kids, is bosses. Because everything all of a sudden, when you start playing like this, at those high cycles, everything starts playing the same. The hump for most people is double damage. Once you get past that hump of, oh my god, I'm losing 2 damage a time, it then becomes a lot easier. You'll go up to 3 damage and you'll barely notice because you'll be playing slowly, methodically, and carefully. Right, so we've alerted some ghosts, so we're going to give ourselves plenty of room. We're not going to make a point of not staying near walls. See? I didn't think there was any enemies over there, but if you stay away from the walls, you want to try and stay away from all walls, especially when dealing with ghosts. What goodies have we got? Winter's Bite. So I would now also, if this was a higher pit, I would look at that and go, right, well, Winter's Bite, I am weapons free on Winter's Bite right here, because if I don't get that now, I am losing it, and I am full on Winter's Bite for the most part. So I would now start thinking, oh yeah, Winter's Bite, well, I'll use that to make clear these levels a lot easier. No, Holy Armor is a rare drop at all cycles, Sean. It is, I would have said Holy Armor is in the same sort of tier as probably the top tier arrows. But again, until I can get an actual tier list, I can only really guess. See if we can get the eye of one of these incubi. Oh, I got the eye of the ghost. There's one. Good. So we'll peg back a little bit, make use of slow time so that this ghost doesn't get the jump on us, because there isn't a lot of wall here, but we want to make sure we've got enough distance so we don't get pegged by him. Now that that incubi is alerted, he will teleport down our throat as long as we are patient. We want him to teleport to somewhere where we have the advantage and we have the distance. Again, as I was saying earlier, he won't tell his buddies, oh, guys, there was some dude just firing arrows at us a minute ago. Do you want to come help us out? He'll just do this all on his own, and all of his buddies will leave him hanging, which is good news for us. Also, know any of his shots that he fires, if they hit any enemies, they do not do friendly fire. This is probably things that you already know. But any shots that he fires does not do friendly fire and does not even alert enemies. They don't even flinch, which is funny sometimes when things catch axes in the face. Now, here's a classic example of me not being patient enough. If I wait back here, he will come eventually. And I should. One of the ways that we can do that is we make sure we have cover from him. And there we go. So now let's construct this headshot. He's up there. What I would do here is that he's not in a bad position. I would put one into him. Get up here. So that we're at least putting a little bit of distance on him. Damn it. And now we're going to be forced to because he's behind there. Do try and take your shots. I'm not doing a very good example here, but to make your incubi shots easier, do try and be on a slight elevation with them. Basically, these dudes have got more chins than a Chinese phone book. No, that's not racist, because there would be a lot of chins in a Chinese phone book. It makes the head a smaller target because the body is more likely to be hit when you are firing up at that angle. Whereas that same enemy again at this angle, there's more face, there's more head, and there's less body to get in the way as far as hitboxes are concerned. The one thing that I will say with incubi, which is one of the things that make them an excellent target for long distance, is they stagger for a very long time. They drop doing their attacks when you do that as well, and their head is a particularly big target. Now, we're firing down here, so we shouldn't alert the incubi as long as we bury the arrows past this dude if we do miss. Remember, there we go. So I would have only got one headshot. I do not want to be firing at that ghost because I might alert the incubi. So we'll bring it all the way back here. Apologies if this is boring, but this is high cycle play. Well, not yet, but it will be. I'll speed things up as we go. We can probably go through Paradise Lost a bit faster. Right. But this is allowing me, again, as Sean was saying, yes, this is a little bit slow for me, but by me slowing down a little bit, I can actually explain what I'm doing, because a lot of this comes naturally to me because I've put so many fucking hours into this game. So by slowing down a little bit, it gives me chance to actually explain what the hell's going on. Alerted the wrong enemies there. Let's get right out of that situation and let's carry on going. So I didn't see those two archers. And two archers in the background that have already, or two archers in the background that have just teleported to a place that you did not expect them. It's a bad situation to be in. Oh, he's gone somewhere nice. Well, not so nice. Okay, we can't get a very good distance headshot on him here, but we know we're clear on that quadrant and we can probably nail him from over here. So we'll go over here. Now, is that an archer on there? Yeah. Let's go and take him out first whilst we're dicking around. Oh, no, it's not. It's just a shadow. That's good. There can be ones up on that balcony. Again, though, when you are constructing these long-range shots, be mindful of what is in the background, what is in the distance. The other thing I'm going to wait for here is him to rotate to me. The reason being is the direction he is facing will be the direction he will stagger back when you headshot him. We want him staggering away from us because A, it puts more distance between us, which makes him even less of a threat because his fireballs are very easy to dodge, and these headshots are worth more points. Right, I got his range. Let's see, points-wise. 03616. So I would remember, there's a 0 in there, but I would remember 3616. So let's see. 3616, 36. So that's still 28. So I could probably get a little further back, unless they've changed. Oh, I should have checked that. The difference between 400 points is only a few steps at this sort of range. I would have said from where he was now, we probably needed to be about here. Yes, it makes the shot more difficult. Is it worth the extra 400 points? Good question. As far as level 6 is concerned, was that? Yeah, it was bargain bin. Well, it took me to get to level 6 on this one. I can speed through cycles 1 to 4 pretty quickly. I think I started the stream at cycle 3, or maybe even cycle 2. And we went at a bit more of a pace. I mean, one of the other reasons why I'm taking this a bit slow is the last time I played was when we were doing No, you must have been on cycle 5 to be able to get more skulls. Oh, yeah, no, that's a great question. How long did it take me? Not long at all. When I first, I'll come to you in a second, Kelly Cat. When I first started, cycle 6 was, oh, we don't want to shoot this guy. The likelihood is our arrows will sail over and get that ghost. Normally that's bad play, but I think we might have cleared enough here. So we'll do it, and we've got plenty of distance, so we can deal with the ghost as it comes. As far as cycle 6 is concerned, it didn't take me long to get there because I was going very fast. Remember as well, as I probably told some of you, I took a very long time. I was quite stubborn about using Winter's Bite on Anakin because I, A, didn't want to waste the points, and B, didn't want to carry the arrow. The reason why I didn't want to carry the arrow is because I still had the training wheels on that I didn't realise at the time of Tempest. Now, for me to get to cycle 6, I don't know, you've got to remember that I was playing this game for a very long time before I started the main game. So I was already up to a decent standard of shooting, and reasonably decent standard of shooting, and could headshot and could score decently as well. But again, I wasn't thinking of score at this point. Oh, you're still here, aren't you? Oh, look at that. Forgot about him. Cost me a health. And alerted something back there. This is why I didn't take that holy armor, because although that holy armor would have been good value, we've got loads of blood here and outside as well. Anyway, what was I saying? So yeah, I honestly couldn't put a time frame on it, but at the end of the day, everybody goes at their own pace. The one thing that I would say is I probably started getting to the double damage cycles. Oh, actually, no. When I was getting to the likes of cycle 5 or 6 was before they had double damage in. So there's a thing, because that wasn't that long ago. But a lot of my play was Siege of Heaven and various tournaments, not a lot in the main game. And then obviously I started playing the main game more and more and more. More to do with the fact that Barrage of Needles was an awesome scoring system. And it went better with the way that I play. So yeah, each to their own, and everybody learns at their own pace. But you've also got to remember the amount of time that you put into this thing as well. I had the Oculus for a very long time and didn't pick this game up because I thought it would look absolutely garbage on the Oculus, and I didn't want that. Waited until I got the Oculus 2 before I got it. Yeah, in that case, I will come to your question in a minute, Kaylee. But yeah, season 4, you're fresh. You have no time in on this game at all. So, give yourself seasons before you even start worrying about these sort of things. Get those achievements done. Which remind me later, Sean, and I will talk about that as well, because it's a very good point that you brought up. Why should I bother getting these achievements that are fucking no use or garbage or what have you? But yeah, I can't give you an answer because of an exact time frame that I got cycles. That I got to double damage cycles 5 and 6, because I don't remember. My memory's shocking, and I know that's not what you want to hear, but unfortunately, that's probably the only answer I can give you at the moment. Right now, before 2 seconds, because we're reasonably clear here. Now, what did Kaylee say? Still bugged about health points in my cycles. I need to restart and screenshot. I had these skulls in way earlier cycles. You can't off. How good is your Roman numeral game? Because if you wouldn't be the only person that has confused IV with VI. It wasn't 7 to 10 days. Okay. Cool. Oh, you're doing very well then. You're doing very well for yourself. Get the last of those achievements finished up. I'll talk about that in a minute. But yeah, as far as that's concerned, if you are absolutely I don't want to be the guy who says, "Oh no, you must be wrong," because games do have bugs. I know, Sean. Oh, right, yeah, you know all about your numerals then. Okay, well, look, I'm not going to be the sort of guy who said, well, I'll tell you what, Kaylee Cat, have you tried turning the Oculus Quest headset on and off? But no, in all seriousness, there are times where there are bugs. And if you've got the evidence and you've got the screenshots, then you get it in and you screenshot it. I would hate to think that anybody is taking double damage at anything less than cycle 5. Hello, K2. Yeah. Nope, that's good. You can let me know how the recording comes out, because I will be able to crop it down a little bit so you don't have to deal with my faffing at the beginning. Right. Yeah, you'll see that I've set the chat up a little bit different, and we've got chat actually in the stream. You still have to chat in the normal box to chat, but the reason why I've done it this way is just to give people who are watching it afterwards a better experience. One of the things that you guys may not know. Hello, dear Miss Jaeger. One of the things that you guys may not know, and you wouldn't because it's YouTube, is if I do any sort of editing to this video after it goes out, it will completely lose the chat. And that's something that I seriously want to avoid. It's part of the reason why I've embedded the chat into the video, because you guys are as big a part of this as I am. I'm just playing the game. And I want the experience for people watching it back to be able to relate the questions that I'm answering to what you guys are asking. I think that's quite important. Plus, as well, come on now, we all like seeing our little chats, and when we had that funny moment, and when Rob reacted to something and we put him down, or we turned him around, or he got it wrong. It's all evidenced. It's all there. It's all for the seeing. Right, so we've done quite well out of that pit. Took a hit that I shouldn't have. Now, note, I have 2 life. If I remember rightly, in this circumstance, I'll just have a quick look back. Bear with, talk amongst yourselves. I'll just have a quick look back, because I think, if my memory serves, I think I had a blood back here somewhere. And if I did, one of the things that we can do, oh, there we go. One of the things that we can do, I didn't actually see that. One of the things that you can do in this sort of scenario, if it's open, is you can start scanning your surroundings. And if your hand opens, that means that you are locked onto something. Does it vibrate? It does not vibrate. I wonder how far back we can get that. So as long as, I've never actually tested the range on this, as long as, and we can tap the button to get it a little bit close to see exactly what it is if it was a consumable. Let's get a little bit further back and see how far we can go. So we can't see it now. So there you go. Here's something new, kids. I didn't even realize that. Or I should do. The items exist within the level, whether you can see them or not. So if we had things up on that tower, obviously the further they go, the more accurate you would have to be with that hand. But there we go. Can get that from all the way across the level. And would you look at that? Now, if I'd have picked up that blood earlier and healed 1 point of life, I would have been 1 down. I've now got full complement. Hello, Vidak Hattie. Welcome to the stream. I'm glad I could help. Right. Very glad I could help. That's what I do. That's what I want to. These are the things that I want to hear. It's one of the things that I will say on the Facebook group. And I'm not just saying this. You are all doing incredibly well. Yeah, cheers, John. You are all doing incredibly well. Now, a lot of that is going to be down to the amount of time that you're putting into the game, watching the right guy, but more to do with the amount of time that you're putting into the game and the information that you have available to you. There's a lot that still not known about this game. Yeah, cheers, Ron. Yeah, well, you know, I mean, look, I can play the game to a reasonable standard, all right? I'm always gonna have a little bit of that. I better not get hit now, should I? That humble pie will be spilled all over my clothing. I don't really want to be engaging here, but this is quite a good example. Only 80? Oh, I'm going to have to up those numbers, Sean. So one of the things that I've done here, again, this is quite a useful lesson. Look at that. I don't want to go into the teeth of that. Good. If there's one thing a decent player likes in IDU is getting somebody else to that point. So yeah, here's a good point, and I've kind of rushed past it because I was answering questions. I don't want to go into the teeth of that. That's a nightmare waiting to happen. That's hits waiting to happen. This is the, I don't know, quintessential IDU moment that you never want to happen. I do not want to go into the teeth of that and have melee enemies breathing down my neck whilst I'm being shot at from behind them. Thanks, John. I want to avoid this scenario. Yes, I could try and get some long-range headshots. Yes, I could probably kill most of them before they even make it up the stairs, but there's still those archers at the back. Why work hard when you can work smart? So I would go over here. I would deal with what's round here. We've also alerted something as I've gone past as well, which is a bit of a bonus, actually, because it's one less night that we'll have to deal with. And here he is here. Hello, sir. Thanks for playing. One last night for us to deal with in that room. Now what we're going to do, this is something I'll probably do with tips in 30 ticks. As Beanie was explaining, we're going to cut the pie. So, can't see anything, no line of sight on anything. We're looking into the side of that doorway. Now, if this were a rifle, we would have our rifle up. So in this circumstance, we would have our arrow up, potentially. But we would have our rifle up, and we would slowly, ever so slowly, move. And we can see a little bit into there. Now, cutting the pie in IDU is a little bit different, because from this perspective here, I would take that shot if it was a rifle, kill that guy, and then wait for the rest of them to come out. In IDU, however, he is not at a high enough level for us to alert. So we continue, but we have knowledge. We know there is an archer. We know there is something at the back. They've alerted. We're now coming back. Now I'm going to look really, really hard at these crenellations. And if I dream and look just hard enough, I might just be able to tempt all of those archers out into a really shit situation. Yeah, it does sound like I've been hunting snowbees. Been hunting snowbees with the crew, with the dream team. So let's get that rifle back up again as if it was. So we can see that one there. I think you guys will be able to see him. So we know there's still one at the back. That guy there will have his lunch, or he might have ours. Again, we come back. We give him an area to jump into. He may be close enough to walk, or maybe he might just get bored. Now note, he fired 2 to 3 arrows. If you leave an enemy that has drawn their arrow long enough, they will put the arrow away. That just means it's longer before they can attack. So let's try and cut the pie again. Now, if we leave it a little bit longer, he might put his arrow away. If he hasn't put his arrow away, his alert to shot time will be quite quick. Is that an Orphan I hear? So we've got this guy coming now. We've got his attention. We'll drop back a bit. We could, as Beanie was shown in the last video, drop back to as far as this corner. To allow this guy to come around the corner, he then has to turn and face before he can attack. I have a video on cornering. I suggest you watch it if this scenario is alien to you. Beanie did an excellent job of showing it off the other day. One of the things that you could do is you could combine cutting the pie with cornering, a la this. So we use the corner to look around. Keep going, keep going. So we now know that this is clear behind us, and we have cover to deal with anything around here. So there's our guys. Let's go back round. I'm not taking that fight. That's way too much. Those guys will charge down my throat, and that archer will shoot me. Now, this is a little bit dangerous because the archer could go back there. I reckon he'll go back corner. But, so notice how the knight comes around the corner, stops, gets ready for the attack. This guy did as well. Now, we're going to... That's the... now, I know those attack, it's still risky. You should still try and avoid that. I was not showing off, but wanted to show a point with the way that I use the shield in this downward motion. The reason why I do that is because the hitboxes are a little bit all over the place, and although the hit comes in about here, I want to follow it to that point so that if the hit does land anywhere else, I've got it covered. And on top of that, because I'm bashing, in essence, I'm slamming, it knocks the opponent down, or it would stagger them in the case of a knight. And now we've got just that guy left. Hey, happy days. Go on indeed. Well, I assume it would be a headshot, Sean, because that's what I've told you to do. So we're gonna cut the pie again, and we're gonna corner. Damn it. Another slam. Oh, neck, but that was definitely a head. I want to pull back a little bit here because I am, well, I might actually try and force it. Because I am too close, remember this area of denial that we have when we alert an archer? Because I am too close, if that archer wants to teleport, he's probably close enough that he might walk in, but they're not prone to do that if you're close by. They don't like getting close. So there are two places that he would teleport. Further back into the room, that's a bit bad because then we're firing arrows blind into a room that we can't really get a lot of information on. Or, worse, back onto that snowdrift. But let's give Bob a tickle and see what he does. Hello. God, I thought he teleported behind me then. I was going to say, come on now. I think he teleported on the spot there. Yeah, he's still in there. So let's see what he does now. Will he get bored? Will he walk in? Will he teleport? He got bored. Right, I'm not going to risk it again because I have got armor and I could get another one here. So let's just end this guy now. Crap example. Right, so we'll continue cutting the pie again. Don't like that. Going back. Going back to here. Again, good example of cornering this. Note how I'm using my slow time so that I can get these shots off for the staggers because there's quite a lot coming around this corner. Now, another thing to note, when the enemies do come around this corner, this one will stagger because he hasn't set himself up for a strike. This one, oh, is still doing the same. When the enemies come around the corner, if they've got a lot of HP, you have to be careful. Have you seen me? I wonder if you've seen me. Damn it. Let's see what we can make him do. Oh, hello. Now, he was teleporting there. I was out of his area of influence or he was outside of my area of influence when I made the teleport. And I closed the distance, hence why he was able to get in that very small bit there. When you're around this corner, knights in particular, any enemy for that matter, but especially knights and skeleton warriors, once they have started up the wind up to their attack, they cannot be staggered out of it. That happens quite a lot with cornering. Usually a combination of shot, slow, shot, slow, shot, slow. You'll be able to put them down before they finish. When you start getting to cycle 10 and you are dealing with a black knight, even now on this cycle, I might struggle with it a little bit. Let's see what we can do. So this isn't a great scenario, but I'm liking the look of that archer's head. So let's see if we can take it off. We'll have an exploratory shot or two. Try and do that guy. We've alerted all of them. And back around the corner we go. Now this is a black knight, and this is lots of people coming, and I have got a free quiver. Perfect arrow for slowing everything down, for the example. So I'll let this guy go into his attack animation. Whilst they're not coming. So note how he's taken stance. A hit does not fully stagger him. He didn't stagger backwards. Another one, he's not staggering. He's still going to try and hit us, which is why you have to put several into him. Notice how he is still... What a guy! Look at the amount of arrows in this dude's head, and he's still going to attack me. What a guy. Hand for the Black Knight, ladies and gentlemen. The Black Knight always triumph, except for today. So once he is in his fighting posture and he is ready to strike, he is striking you regardless of whether you shoot him or not. If he is not advanced to that range, he will stagger, and that makes some easy headshots. I think that example went quite well. So let's clear up these two. I think I missed Sean saying something just then. This is called Portable Implement. Indeed. Right. So we could have cut that. We probably should have, because firing into a room like that is a bit dangerous because we don't know what's round the corner because we didn't cut the pie and we alerted with an arrow as opposed to a visual detection from the enemy. But we're good. Note how that one didn't even draw his arrow because he was moving. They can't draw their arrow and move, just like they can't shoot and move. He could have moved, turned to face me, probably would have done his "what's up guys" thing, and then drawn an arrow and then shot me. So you do get a lot of steps, and this is why slow motion is very important as well, because it just accentuates all of those steps that they have to take. Now, the Orphan is definitely up there. The way that I would deal with this one's going to have to be fast. I know there's archers, or I know there's definitely spawn points up there. There will be various coloured archers up there. I believe there will be one up here as well as the Orphan. So what we're going to do in one smooth motion is we're going to go up there. We're probably going to Hand of God. Again, this is like if there was a lot of life on these things. We're going to Hand of God the Orphan so we don't have to worry about the Orphan too much. We're also going to try and tuck ourselves against the wall so that we force her down this way because I don't want her going into that room. We're going to do that by teleporting behind her, but remember that there is an archway here, and that leads into a room that we don't want her to go into. So we're going to fire about there. We're going to use our slow time so that we land in slow time. The archer up here hasn't appeared. We're going to slow time that one. At this situation, I would be tempted, stay there, I would be tempted to have used Winter's Bite. However, I'm full and I don't want to waste him. So what we're going to try and do here, we're going to try and let her get to that distance where she's quite comfortable trying to teleport away, but she isn't going to. A Hand of God, again, it's a good scoring arrow because now we don't have to worry about her running. We can just concentrate on the headshots. These headshots are all banked. They're all making us points. There's no point me taking that last shot because it allowed 25k on. But there you go. Hey, she fell off. Bye-bye. Thanks for playing. So yeah. God, why didn't I do this sort of shit in my Orphan video? My Orphan video in comparison to this was fucking terrible. So, a little bit more cut in the pie here. Can't see anything there. We'll move up to this one. A little bit more cut in the pie. No, we're clear. I was quite happy with that Orphan kill. Yes, thank you very much, Kelly Cat. I appreciated that one also. It's great when they slip off the edge. I love it. So note how I have staggered the archer first, because that one's going to close the distance, but I've got time to deal with him. This dude hasn't even done his A yet because I've hit him already. If I keep him stunned, he's still got another step even after he finishes being stunned before he can draw an arrow. But by that time, I'm afraid it's going to be too late. You've probably seen it, so we'll put one in you. So this is what I just did down there, but at a little bit more distant. He's the new enemy. He's surprised us, so we'll pop one in his body, just quick sharp. Note again how he hasn't drawn his arrow yet. If we hit him before he draws his arrow, he will keep on having to try and draw that arrow before he can start shooting us. It's the same with the knights. If you can headshot them as they are, or before they draw their sword or their axe or whatever implement and weapon it is that they have, all buys you those extra sections. Don't ask. Don't ask, John. Just don't ask. Yeah, it was great. Yeah, I love it when they slip and fall off of the edge. The only thing better than when you hit them and they slowly slip off the edge is when they cartwheel into the ether. It's so good. It's one of the reasons why I wish. Oh, it's one of the things that's actually quite good about me streaming, because I don't. As vain as I may seem, I don't record everything that I do. I don't record very much of what I do, but these streams are always recorded. Maybe I'll ask somebody to go through and put all of the hilarity together of knights cartwheeling off of the sides. I wish, I know why, because of obviously the memory limitations and whatnot, but I wish the headsets had the feature where you can, like, say, talk to Oculus and say, oh, record that, and it records the last 2 minutes or 1 minute or 5 minute worth of gameplay, so that when these funny moments happen, you could capture them. I do get the feeling that we would see a lot more funnier videos if that happened, because they would be more spontaneous. This is just a bad room. Now, I'm tempted to go here, and because that is a fucking bad situation to be in, even I would do that. I was kind of chatting and wandered in there like an idiot. I don't want to look over there, because if I am using my slow time to get this guy where I want him, I do not want to look away from this area. If I'm looking here and there are alerted archers, they will have to either wander in or teleport in here. If I was to turn and face this way, if any of those archers do want to wander in or teleport, you better believe they're going over there. This is why... Oh, thank you! Thank you so much! What a great example. Now, note how he did that late. And the reason being he did that late is because he decided that he was teleporting over there as I looked over there. So he engaged his teleporter, or whatever it is that they use to teleport. He engaged his magic, and then I looked back. He was definitely helping me with his live stream. So I was looking this way, and I knew that there was people alerted. If I'd had waited here a few seconds longer, he might have teleported backwards, because that is within my gaze. Because I looked over here, and he then decided, looking over there, are you? They're massively vain characters, these are monks. They want to be seen. But because I looked over here, and he'd already decided, as I looked over here, he wanted to teleport, he did. Then so he's already locked his teleport in. He's already teleporting before the animation begin. I then looked back at him, and that's why he teleported past me. This is also why skeletons are such bastards of enemies, because they are one of the few enemies in the game that will make a point of teleporting outside of your gaze. So on the one hand, it is a mechanic that the enemies want to stay within your line of sight. However, it is not a game... what's the word? Slow time and have a drink whilst I think of the word. It is not a game... Oh, there's a game limitation. Game limitation, that's the word. It is not a game limitation because Super Bright have it so that it can be broken. A lot of the time, when Cupids teleport behind you, I think Cupids are the one exception. And I believe, but I haven't been to really, really high cycle play, and to be fair, nothing's lasted. Either I die or things do not last long enough for me to test at cycle 16, as you can hopefully appreciate. But I think a lot of the time, let's get this guy done first. I think a lot of the time, notice how he's already got his arrow drawn because he's been alerted. It does mean that he's going to attack us faster than your average enemy. Sometimes if you alert a lot of things, it is worth fucking right off and counting to like 30. He will put his arrow away. The knights will put their swords away, and they'll go back to their passive state as opposed to their alerted state, as opposed to their high alert, I can see you, I'm going to come and ram this down your throat state. But yeah, a lot of the time, so this, as I... nice one, John. Thank you for joining us. Happy faffing, I guess. Right, let's deal with this one. We know the rest of them are going there. And there's definitely a knight coming around the corner. Oh, you're just walking out, are you? Okay, cool. Sounds good to me. This is where, at the later cycles, slow time comes in. I'm going to do something stupid now. If I try and headshot this guy... I was lucky to not lose life there. Notice how I only took half of his life off, even at full draw, being quick. And I almost took a shot for it as well, for the purposes of a stupid fucking demonstration. Now, I'm going to leave that even later. And if I use slow time... I'm still going to have to get away, I left that too long. But if I use slow time, I can take him out. My point is, especially at this cycle, using that slow time, I would be able to take that guy out in the time that it would take for him to draw his sword and pull it back. If I was not to use slow time in that situation, I can't put enough shots into his face to put him down before he puts me down. I really thought we were going to lose the armor there. There you go. I've always said that the armor hitbox is probably smaller. So... we are in a nice situation. I believe there is a quiver back at home. We know there is a holy armor. We've managed to preserve our holy armor from the pit, not through careful play, but just through picking things up in the right order. Let's go back and get that armor, and then we go. Now, the other thing that I will say here, I'm doing this to keep things moving because I do understand that we are going quite slow and you probably want to see me get to cycle 8 and die. So I'm going to speed things up a little bit. I normally would go and do, or no, you should, I probably wouldn't. This cycle isn't too bad, but I would normally go and clear everything out at Anakin's before I come and get this holy armor. The reason being is because I want everything dead. I want to go into Anakin's with a holy armor. The reason being is I could lose that holy armor and take a hit, dealing with all of that. I could then come back, get that blood, get that holy armor. Sorry, I missed the end of that. How many armor can you have in a run? That is a good... Hang on a second. How many armor can you have in a run? Very good question. You will note that we are a three-headed monster of some description, in that we have 3 heads and we are able to put 1 helmet on each of those heads. The other reason why I would come and do all of this after clearing out Anakin is I then know that I can be weapons free on one of my arrows, probably my Hand of God, because I have a whole quiver, so I could basically use 19 Hands of Gods, safe in the knowledge, as long as I don't hit enemies or hit them in the head with them, that I can come back and get this quiver. Yeah, no more than 3. And yeah, you can only have 1 Grace of God, and I am going out on a limb a little bit, but to my knowledge, Grace of God, I know I've done a video on it and I've kind of speculated on it, which I don't like doing, but to my knowledge and from reports of players that have lost their Grace of Gods and then gone like another 10 cycles deep, I have also done this myself as well, and with confirmation, I believe, from Beanie I had at the time, just to make sure that I was putting the right information out there. Once you lose your Grace of God, you cannot pick up your Grace of God. One of the things that we haven't tested yet, because I haven't really found the test conditions to do so, is would a Grace of God appear in a game that it has already appeared in, whether you picked it up or not. Now, that sounds like a stupid question, and why do we need to know the answer for that? There are times where you may shoot an enemy and miss that they have dropped an item because they are too far away. Ergo, you could miss your Grace of God. I don't know if anyone can tell me in the chat. I've asked LG, I've asked Big Smith, I've asked Beanie, I've asked other people that can get really far, and the general consensus is, and I think Beanie confirmed this on a super bright level as well, is that you can pick up one Grace of God, you will not see another one once you lose it. And to be fair, for as powerful as Grace of God is, to be powerful, that was a silly scenario, right? So I've been very silly there, and I'm just literally going to nope out of that situation. I'm going to keep moving, and I'm going to keep teleporting, and I'm going all the way back to cover because I know there was archers there. And we're going to give them a minute. They may teleport in, but I doubt it because I'm not giving them anywhere to teleport to. In this situation, you can have situations where they would potentially teleport to your last known. But yes, to my knowledge, you cannot get a second Grace of God once you have used one, and I've been far enough that I should have seen another one. Basically, I was dicking around testing on like cycle 2, lost my Grace of God, and then I think that was the run that I got to like cycle 14 or 15 or something along those lines before I got my cycle 16 run, which was my top score last season, and I did not see another Grace of God. You would expect to. Grace of God is rare, but I don't think it's any rarer than, say, this is a bad situation to be in, so I'm going to get out of his line of sight and come in a bit closer. And he was getting ready to throw an axe, which means that he is safe to teleport next to. He will do nothing. Oh, it's a good job I caught that zip. He would have done nothing until that axe was thrown. Also, by using slow time, I saw a little bit of the white contrail showing that somebody had teleported past me and where that teleportation was going. So we lucked out a little bit there again. Right, let's deal with this one because I don't think that one's got line of sight. He's teleported around the corner. So we'll go to here and we'll get him from here. Like that. Hey, down you go. Lovely shot. Right. So yeah, that's Holy Armor and Grace of God. So we are now getting to the point where I'm quite happy with our situation going forward, and I would want to be. Oh, that was a lovely accidental headshot. This is a very bad place to corner. Yes, that is quite right, but then the thing is, Grace of God, in essence, still acts like a holy armor, in that you could take an infinite amount of damage, regardless of how much life you have left. So let's say, for instance, we were on... let's say, for instance, we were on 5 life in cycle 13. Now, that would be considered death's door. One more hit, we are dead. By having a Grace of God, we get the Grace of God would trigger, and we would be put down to 1 life. So it's basically, Grace of God is a hyper armor, but you can only ever have one of them. You can only get one of them, and once you've used it, it is gone. Which is why if you are in a run and you got a Grace of God inside cycle 1 and managed to balls it up and lose it in that same cycle, I would recommend, unless you're doing achievements or whatnot, in which case you turn it into an achievement run, bin it, start again. That's not a great scenario because he might get involved as well. So we'll put that down. It's only 1 arrow. We'll get plenty back. This sort of play later on can really cost you. Possibly you may be able to buy the Grace of God on the black market down in the hood. However, I don't think that Grace of God would actually contain any grace. It would probably be a really fancy container for some very hardcore tricks. Which, to be fair, if it isn't actually his lordship giving us grace, then it possibly is the effects of some very strong drugs. The only other thing I would say as well is I think I have seen Grace of God as a purchase in the shop. We can deal with that guy safely enough. If we can hit him right, he might fall off and do a superhero landing. Oh, he's not going to do it. Damn it. Don't know. I love watching them do the superhero landing. It's so good. That's probably a bit high. He would just stumble and fall. Right. That guy's at a decent distance now. He's seen us already. Should we go get some headshots? Yeah, we haven't done that today. Has anyone have some boredom? Come in. Come on. I was talking about the big guy. That lordship. But yeah. A little bit further. There we go. All right, so 19 for any of you that are watching. I'll try and remember to check this afterwards. 19436. So I would say 39 3. What's that? I'd say 919,000. So I'd say we're on 19. I'd say we're on 20,000 right now, and let's see how many points we can get out of this guy. So 20,000, and we'll minus 500 at the end. That one's on. I can feel that one. All right, let's wait for him to get back into position. Damn it. Damn it. Two seconds. Bargain. I will answer you in a moment. Oh, come on. So part of the reason why I got part of that, part of the reason why I don't use many specials is because I'm playing again the way, oh, this is working out bad. I am playing the way that I would play stupidly high cycles. Every single special that I have to use during a, that was rubbish. Oh, well, he fell off at least. So what did we say? 19,000 minus 500. So that one headshot was worth about the full 12,000. That was a bit terrible, really, but at least we got one of them. I try not to use many special arrows because we've got slow time, so we shouldn't need to. And I'm playing this as if I'm really high cycle, so that I can show you it without being too much pressure. Whether I can talk to this extent whilst playing Cycle 16, I don't know yet. That's new ground for me. Possibly because I haven't got my left ear done, but we shall see. I feel like I'm already playing a lot better because I can hear everything. But I'm also playing a lot slower and carefully and abusing slow time. This is only a main game. Heard you. I'm one of them. This is a dangerous situation. I shouldn't be staying here because I could lose life. And I can completely diffuse that situation just by moving to one side and taking cover. That guy hasn't got an angle on me anymore. That guy hasn't got an angle on me anymore. If I look over here, what is the fucking that? That's disgusting. Someone clip that and send that to Super Bright. He just shot through the fucking wall. It's going so well. It was really going so well. Anyway, where was he? They're learning, people. They're actually learning. Look at that. What a guy. Hats. Ladies and gentlemen, black monks. Shoot me through the fucking wall. I can't do that. There you go. That's what I get for dicking round. Again, it was a situation that I probably should have noped out on. Glitches happen, unfortunately. What I should have done in that situation is as soon as more than one or two, like, it's another sign of where you're at with your play. Using slow motion, hitting your headshots, how much you can manage at a time. Now, ideally, you should be able to manage one enemy. Anything past that is just asking for trouble. Yeah, I mean, I'd much rather that happens now. They do rock. Summon rotten. We'll leave that quiver here. Again, we have that situation now where I know that I can use Hand of Gods. I am basically weapons free for this last section on Hands of God. As he said that. So again, I might as well make use of them. These Hands of God are not affecting my scoring. They're just slowing everything down, which is just enhancing my scoring. I'm not taking any life with them. They're not losing anything. I can put that there, slow that knight right down, keep him at a longer distance, and put the headshots in. And he'll also take even longer to stagger. And if we did fuck it up, then we don't have to worry too much about it either. So let's go. Auntie Kim's basement. Okay, I'll trying to do that because I'm not going to points farm him. I'm going to just play him. Well, what I will do is I mean, I coined the term. I was not the creator of what I now call, or what I suppose is referred to as, snow globing. I am standing on the shoulder of giants as far as that technique is concerned. But I'd like to think that I've helped refine it a little bit with... Yeah, nah, you're good, man. Don't worry. Right, let's go back. Now, we reckon that that might be middle distance, but I don't want to go on those. Yeah, even though this is middle distance, it's probably about as long as we can get. The problem that we've got here is if we go onto that, they will all come running over here, whereas standing up here, they'll stay there. So this is where we want to be putting our shots in, not a Grace of God one. And ideally, we want to knock one down and then continue. I think these are far enough because those are 900 points of damage, which is not bad. I should be using my slow time here as well to buy me the extra split seconds, which, as we were talking about in the last episode or the episode before that, as far as this, so this is approximating something like this long-range execution thing that me and Beanie are talking about. But to be fair, to make it worthwhile on points, they need to be a lot further away from you than that. So let's just make sure that that's everything cleaned up. Yeah, why not? We've got him to burn, haven't we? Keeps him in the distance there. What I will do now that Beanie said what he said as far as this whole middle distance not scoring as much as short, because I always assumed that it was just distance, points, and then a line going up that way, because you score less points at short and a lot of points at long. A lot of points at long, low points at short. So you can only assume it's a line. I did not realize that, as Beanie was saying, it is a tick, which I will do some testing on. It's not that I don't believe him. I just want to know exactly. As he says, it is not enough points to... No, I've already got them all. I actually lost one. I don't know if you were watching, Sean, but I got I got hit by a black monk through a fucking wall. But they do that. So, but there you go. We go on. Right, here we go. 2 skulls. That means we are taking double damage. I know we're on cycle 6. We don't need to do any of that. Don't need any of that. Nope, thank you for the reminder. As you know, as I keep saying, my memory is shocking. So, a couple of things. Hey, LG, watch me fuck this up. Now, a couple of things. I don't know if you knew this, LG, but I'll explain them anyway, because these are things I got Beanie proving the other day. First hit on Anakin, regardless of, triggers the first wave of monks. Fuck off, LG. Yeah, a couple of things that I was unaware of as well. First Hand of God, I've always put into Anakin. Apparently putting it into the floor is a better shout because that delays the spawn of knights. As far as the first strike on Anakin is always going to trigger the first wave of monks. So let's put all of this to the test. Because it means I can do this, because I'm playing for points here. There we go. I mean, I knew he was lying. That was definitely a hit, right, guys? That was 100. That was 169 points of damage, was it not? He has definitely lost life. Where's these monks, eh? Where are they? Oh, don't worry, Rob. The first hit, regardless of how high it is or whatever cycle it is, always triggers the first wave of monks. Not true. It's not true. So, no, that was just, he told me that it doesn't matter what that first arrow is, it will always trigger the first wave of archers. Although I think he was right on putting the Hand of God into the deck as opposed to Anakin himself. No, it wasn't, but it doesn't matter whether it was Winter's Bite or not. See, there's our Stagger, which I think is what brings these guys on. Shouldn't really do this without Winters, but I'm gonna slow them down a bit. There's not enough knights to do something else. No, the thing is, what Beanie was trying to convince me of the other day is that regardless... Oh, I've left that a bit late. Regardless of what hits him first, the first hit will always what Beanie said in his stream was the first hit will always summon the archers regardless of the damage. To be fair, he proved that to me as well, but he did it on a very low cycle. I still think that there is a 5% damage threshold to begin with. Get those birds in there. There we go. I'm going to re-hog him because he's almost at the edge. And I'm going to... Where's that last one? There it is. Now notice how I'm putting slow time headshot, slow time move. I can't get him. Let's finish one of them off. Let's finish another one off. Check on Anakin. Nope, he's good. He's still staggered. And then we'll pull back here a little bit. And then we'll get that one. Now, he is still not in a situation for us. And we still want to get some more archers sorted. So, what seems to be the growing trend, thanks to Silver Lining, is we come across here, and then we're going to stay on this edge, and we're going to try and cut across. Blessed Quiver, like it would be for any good run, is the amulet that I'm using. The reason being is because I believe none of them do a lot, but I believe it is the one that gives the most value. Oi, dickhead, over here. Give me your head. I'll do a bit of farming. Now, normally, if I was being clever and careful, I wouldn't want to trigger his wave here, but I'm still going to do it. Yeah, spiritual assistance is like a drug. You need to lose that shit. Because the thing is, it doesn't make enough of a difference for it to be considered a massively bad play, in my opinion. Where's the other one? So there's one more that we haven't collared yet. I think he's just round that corner. It doesn't make enough of a difference for it to be considered bad play. Oh, we've alerted him. He was right round the corner. So he could come from anywhere. so we've got to be careful. We've also got to be incredibly careful with that we don't miss that guy, because we might. Oh, got lucky there. Trigger the knights. Two opportunities missed there. Right, we're going to sneak around here. They're clever monkeys, these ones, aren't they? Now, notice where I've moved to. I've moved to here on purpose. The reason being is because I don't want to trigger those knights yet. I'm not ready for them. I'm going to try and do a little bit of farming on them. But in this situation, things can go incredibly wrong, incredibly fast. Again, note how I'm not using Winter's Bite. Reason being, I want them headshots. I want all them headshots. Give me the headshots. I might, just to stop myself getting swarmed, use some Winter's Bites on these dudes, because they can only take one hit anyway. Let's see where these are coming. There's one, you can have a headshot. There's one, you can have a headshot. You can have... Well, there you go. Who would be that much of an idiot? Now, the reason why I'm not using Winter's Bite here is because I don't want to take any more health off of the enemies than I need to. Let's put some more headshots into you. That's your Stagger. Clear up your base. And then we're going to make a break for... I think we'll trigger the knights here. There we go. Going to make a break for this back corner. Now, we've got Anakin into a state of play where we should be all right, I think. I'll use one of these. We haven't triggered them all. Oh, now we have, probably. There they go, some more. No, it's not as difficult as it looks, I'll be honest. Remember, I'm using judicious amounts of Hand of God here as well. And out. And then we want to be up here. Now, his knight should spawn by him. We want to try and get... Hopefully, he'll still go to there as well. These guys... 2 seconds. I know our good friend Atlas can do it. I've seen him do it. And it's all through a judicious amount of slow time and Hand of God. Now, we should have him to a state of play. Where, oh, look at that. Risky. Thankfully, those dudes have fallen out, which is nice. I'm going to Hand of God that one, just to slow them down with the archers at the back. I'm not going to worry too much about getting a headshot on that one. I'm going to dodge out the way of that. Hey! Good try. Ah, oh, showing off. Damn it. Lost all my armor there dicking around, didn't I? Had to. So what I should have done is I should have kept on slow timing and just raised my shield. But like a dickhead. Is LG in the room? He must be. So this is part of the reason why I say about making sure... This is a good example, kids. This is why I say about making sure that Anakin is on really low health before starting to farm points or piss around, because even if it had gone really badly there, to be fair, it's gone pretty badly, but even if I was on if this had gone incredibly badly and I was, say, in risk of losing my Grace of God, I can at least put this guy down with the normal arrows pretty fast. So these are the risks that we take when we mess around. Now I know he will have to come up here first, and now that I've tucked myself into this corner, he will have to come here before he can get me. So I'm gone into another corner, and we start again from the back, and we're going to go back around that way. We don't want to be using Hand of God, because Hand of God's already working at the top for us to keep him slow. Yes. If he survives this. Yeah, so basically the monks spawn based on a percentage of health lost. So if I was to, which you will see at cycle 7 and onwards probably, because I'll abandon doing this, shouldn't have really done it now because losing 2 armor, this is a bad time to lose it. But we've got the knights back under control at the very least. But again, I want to show you guys these things. So again, note how I'm still trying to get the angle, because I don't, those knights, because they have spawned far enough away from me after being killed, and that's more to do with Anakin being slown up there and having to go into the corner. They will now stand there stock still. This is another thing that me and LG and Sean were playing with, getting them to go up there. Oh, and Beanie as well when I did the video. Getting Anakin to go up there, we couldn't find a reliable way to make him stay up there, and hence why Silver Lining helps a little with that. What we did find you could do is you could lure the knights to somewhere, freeze them. Oh, I think Anakin's almost out there. Careful. Careful now, boy. Are we still getting gold? Yes. Lure the knights out to somewhere. Let's pretend I only wanted one of them. Sounds good, doesn't it? Lure the knights to somewhere in one of the corners, either that corner, the side room, or right at the top. Freeze them all and then get the fuck out of there, and they lose interest. That's a story for another time, kids. Let's get this tidied up, I think. So note how no more gold is coming out of the knights. The knight headshots and the archer headshots are the knight headshots and the abomination headshots are tied. Once one stops giving out, check the other. But more often than not, when his melee infantry, as I would call them, stop giving out the points, that is the time to end it. The only 2 things that will always give you points. Thank you, LG. All right, I'm there. I was just explaining a couple of finer points. So, there you go, that's pretty good, isn't it? Two. Look at that. 30% chance plus 30% chance. Cheers, dude. Who's that? Was that LG on his way out? No worries. Cheers, LG. Pop back in when I'm doing Anakin again. I'll make a fool of myself. Cheers, my man. Here's what some people are finding this incredibly rare drop. It is pretty good. I wouldn't take it. What we were saying about the snow globing side of things, because I should be able to go through here whilst talking about it. So, as Beanie said, because now I have to test this, and I was sure it's not the first hit on Anakin. It's a certain amount of damage that triggers the first wave. It's nothing to do with whether he staggers either. That is just a byproduct of him taking enough damage. Basically, as I understand it, Anakin takes 5% damage, then I think it's 15% damage, then 20, then 20, then 20, then 20, whatever would add up to 100. Basically a group of 100%. Basically so that he can spawn all 5 waves. If you watch the video, it explains it a lot better than that. Let me just clear this area out a second whilst I carry on. If you were to say Curse of God, Winter's Bite, Wildfire, any of, or even, no, sorry, the initial arrow that I fired at him was not a Winter's Bite. The reason being that I didn't want to fire a Winter's Bite is I was told by Beanie, and you can go back and watch his stream, that because I asked him, can you put a really weak shot into Anakin, and he did so on cycle 1, and it was the pissiest, weakest little shot like that, which did about 66 damage, and the first wave of monks spawned. He says that it is tied to the first hit. I say that there is a percentage. I think it's something like maybe 1% or 2% or maybe 5% of his health, and then the next wave triggers at 15. That would be 20% total for 2 waves. Then the next at another 20%, so that would put him at 40, and then another 20% would give him the maximum 5 waves, I think. Again, it's just a theory, and it's difficult to prove because we don't know exactly how much Anakin's health is at given cycles. And obviously his cycle behavior at cycle 1 is obviously different to cycle 6. So what I think is they've programmed it so that he spawns monks on the first hit, but they won't have programmed it on those lines. They'll have programmed it on a small amount of life lost. As his life pool increases, that amount of life lost amount will have increased. Oh, I shouldn't I? Good shout. I think we've got plenty left. 49%, look at that. I reckon I got a good half an hour. I reckon we can get Paradise Lost done in that time, maybe. Or shut up and get on with it. Or maybe we just get half of Paradise Lost done. As far as the hits are concerned, so if you, let's say for instance you went into Anakin and you body shotted him until the first wave of monks spawned, the next shot that you fire into his face will stagger him. It's easier to display at later cycles, but let's say so, yeah, no, that's fine. So what it is, Bargain, is if let's say for instance I shot a Winter's Bite into Anakin. That shot, 2 seconds, I'm just listing. They do, yeah, they do. The two things usually do go hand in hand. Well, I think, we all think the Banshees are hot, I'm sure. As far as, like, so if you hit Anakin in the body, I almost had my name on it. If you hit Anakin in the body with a Winter's Bite at the very beginning of the fight, that should do enough damage. What happened to him? That should do enough damage to trigger the first 2 waves of monks. If you were to hit him in the body with that shot, it should still be enough, definitely on cycle 1, to trigger the first 2 waves of monks, because he would have taken, I reckon, 20%, maybe a little bit more than that in damage. If you then were to deal with the monks and headshot Anakin, he would stagger. And the reason being is because when the archers spawn is when the next shot, regardless of strength, would stagger Anakin. In the snow globing video, I call it banking a stagger. So, and you'll see what I did to show it off was I Winter's Bite Anakin, wait until the archers spawn, let them killed them, and then I did the weakest shot. I did a couple of shots like this where I hit him in the body, and then one of them hit them in the head. That was to show that it is headshot and not damage done. There you go. I think that was a good enough explanation. And if it wasn't, go and watch the snow globing video. But yeah, I think you get the general idea. So it's as I've talked about, it's like banking a stagger is what I call it. Because ideally you want to stagger Anakin when he is inside one of your hands of God. The reason being is because it accentuates the effects of the hand of God. God, these cupids are spawning all over the show. Right. This was, I remember I was talking with K2 during Beanie's stream, and this is my route for this part. There we go, that's what we wanted. So the damage is what gets the monks into a position that they can spawn. The actual headshot is nothing to do with the trigger. You can get the stagger from a headshot and it will not spawn monks. However, if you do enough damage and get him to his percentage thresholds, the monks will spawn regardless of whether it was a headshot or not. I think that's a clearer and conciser way to put it. So yeah, this is my route. I like to clear a little bit here, and then this is a great place to fight from. We don't want to be taking that fight. I have hit him. I've got his interest. If we make sure that we can't see over there, he may teleport into this area. He might teleport off to here if I keep looking. Or he may lose interest. That's another possibility. Oh, he may just shoot me through the fucking wall like he did last time. Who knows? Right. Still up there? Yeah, you are. Right, let's see if we can lure a couple more of these down, because there's not a lot up there, and I like this area. This is a nice, safe, and secure area to fight from. If I was a less patient person, I could not wait for the headshot. Oh, I am a less patient person. I'll try and get it anyway. I would want to try and, using my slow time, try and get at least one headshot. The problem with trying to get those headshots and not moving to where we want him to go to soon enough is that they may not teleport where we want them to, and then they teleport somewhere completely different. I'm just going to have, hopefully that's all of them. Yeah, I think you're one of the only people that loves Paradise Lost, Jules. I would rate Paradise Lost as probably on par with, I suppose Desolation is a bit harder, but then this is the thing. I find Desolation, it's not hard, it's just, I don't know, I suppose I'm unfamiliar with Desolation. Actually, no, it's not even that. I got very familiar with Desolation during the tournaments. I don't know, I don't like Desolation. It is a difficult level. If it was a difficult level and it was worth the points to go there, then you would find me singing the praises of Desolation. However, it is not. 10% score-wise, especially at early cycles when it's easy, is not enough to tempt me in there. If there were more rewards in Desolation, like my recommendation to Super Bright, the little change that I would want them to make to Desolation is to make it, is to make it so that, exorcists drop goodies, just like summoners do. I think they're a hard enough enemy to warrant it. Definitely. Now, he was technically, when he was alerted and teleported, my gaze was in the region. I was looking up here, but you can just see out the bottom of my headset. I mean, if I was looking directly up, he probably still would have gone there anyway. But again, that's another decent example of gaze defining where enemies go. Let's go, and I've just heard that we've alerted something else. Let's get into this corner, see where he goes. I don't blame you, Bargain. It's a great looking level is the problem. It's really good, and I like it, and I like the enemies, and I like the challenge. However, the points aren't there, and I want to play. The thing is, it's like, is this game all about the points? Well, yeah, when you've done all of the that's a bad move. I'll stay here then if we've alerted things. I was going to go straight up there and fight from that corner up there the same way as I'm doing here. If I... Once you've got 100%, this game is about score. At that point, you should be then thinking about efficient play. Efficient play will get you more score earlier, so you can get a higher score in lesser cycles, which is less dangerous. And doing these things works out. Hey, did everyone hear that? I've got a bona fide IDU celebrity in my stream. Hey Rico, how you doing? They both play a part, but learning where everything is takes a lot longer than being careful. Rico is a good example of careful play. You know, the cycles that he plays at, he is definitely worth a watch. As far as what is more important, I'll extrapolate on that in a little bit once I've been careful and eliminated. Oh, hang on. Let me just go and get a well of water a second. Right. Yeah, bait and wait is the safe option. Like if I was playing safe, I could put a shot in there, but I don't want to really do that with cupids because they can be a nightmare. So let's have a look at the situation from a different angle. So this is a good example of being patient and being careful. Not necessarily a bait and wait, but we're looking for headshots here because we're trying to improve our score. Shooting one of those, whether we hit and miss, that's going to alert the other two. And we're also going to be straight in line of sight with not a lot of cover. Stick to this wall and go over here. All of a sudden, there's the possibility that we would only alert one of the three. If we miss that first one, we'll definitely alert him, obviously. But we can also put that pillar in our way. Now, that means that if he does get alerted, he is going to teleport in close to us. Hopefully, we're going to be able to take them both out, but we're going to use that pillar if it all goes wrong and tuck ourselves into it. So, headshot. Damn it. Right, we got one. That didn't go as well as we wanted to. We're going to use our slow motion and we're going to take cover in that corner. Now that one, we've only alerted the one. Oh, I didn't headshot that one either. We only alerted the one. That will definitely have alerted the last one. But we've got our cover. Let's see what is. Let's give it a second and see what he's going to do. Did he not get alerted? This guy deaf or blind? Deaf and blind. So we should be able to take that top one. If you hear that creaking sound, you move back to where you were. The reason being is because something's shot at you that you haven't taken stock of. All right. Like that guy. So. But yeah, being patient and being clever. Being clever and patient with your plays. By being clever, do it. Say clever, it wasn't that clever. But doing things like that. Trying to eliminate your possibilities. It's funny you say that, Rico, because my players well, I don't know if anyone can see it or not. I feel like my play during stream has improved from how I started, because today you guys are all being my voice in my head. There's times here where Sean's warring with my conscience, because that's the other voice in my head, with all those awesome questions. And it's because I have now, instead of having my left ear bunged up with a headset, I now have bone conduction technology. So YouTube chat is being imported directly into my skull. Please be gentle with me now that you know this. Damn it. These bad shots. We are looking for the headshot here because I don't think there's anything else. There we go. You always want to be aiming for those, but those are difficult shots. At a distance, they're worth trying for. Up close, end the thing. So I don't think there's a lot of... Oh, there's one. No worries, Dart. That will be on Saturday, and we'll probably be doing either some Fletcher or some more purist. But thank you very much for joining us. See you then. Oh, that was a headshot, surely. No. Nope. Let's get... Now, what I shouldn't do is alert one and then start on another. Maybe this will be a good example as to why not to do that. I'm sure you can figure it out. But whilst that guy was alerted, there is a possibility that he may teleport into a position that will... Oh, they're being good examples today, aren't they? We'll put that there. So I alerted one. I didn't deal with the situation that I'd created by missing him, and I almost cost myself because he teleported to an area that... Now, I don't know how much you guys can actually see on the screen, but I can see through the, like, 100 degree, 110 degree, or whatever it is. I can see that area out of the corner of my eye. So he's teleported from there. He is technically still within my gaze, and that's why he was right on the peripheries. So there's another lesson. Finish your dinner. Always confirm or finish your kills before you start up on another one, because you never know what that one that you just pissed off is going to do next. Oh, these are terrible shots. Come on now. Come on now. We can get another headshot out of you. No, we can't. Right. Let's see who we got left. So we got those two guys. So again, now what I'm going to do, because I'm going to try and get a different angle on these guys, is I'm going to check the tops, make sure we've got the cupids around here. There's one. I don't want him taking my lunch whilst I'm not looking. And we're probably going to jump up to that, and we'll deal with all of that later. If we get that guy. And then I wanted to jump up there, but we've been fortunate in that these have just spawned in, which is why they haven't been alerted. So we can probably not worry about that for now and deal with these guys down here, because we do want to get this finished off. It's all about clearing those safe spaces, as I've said before in many a video. And at the moment, we know that everything this way is safe. If we can make this bottom floor safe, it gives us somewhere to really retreat to if we have to. Do you take these shots through crenellations? Well, to be fair, it's part of the design, so you should. One of the things, this is worth talking about. If I hit this dude now, regardless of whether it is a headshot or a body shot, he will stagger the way that he is facing, or he will stagger back from the way that he is facing. Now that he is looking directly at me, we know that he will stagger away. So we know here that he's going to stagger back. 2 seconds, Sean, I'll answer that in a sec. So we know that he's going to stagger back. This guy, he's facing that way. If I hit him, he is going to stagger. I'll wait until he does it in a better position. So he's facing this way now. So note how he is facing to the left. Regardless of where I hit him, can we guess which way he's going to stagger? That's right. He's going to stagger backwards. It doesn't matter how we hit him, he will always stagger backwards. The reason why that is quite important is... Oh, 2 lovely headshots there. If you had a monk who's here, let's say he was right in that corner, and he was looking at me, or he was looking to walk down this corner, and he is where I am firing my arrows. If I body shot him or headshot him, well, we know that he's going to go the direction of where his back is facing. So he would actually, from here, stagger into cover. We don't want that. So we would wait for him to turn and try and hit him then, so that he staggers away from the cover. This is a bad example. You don't really want to engage people on those pillars. Right, I'll have another weapon, see what Sean wanted. It's always good practice. Am I saying kill absolutely everything before you move forward? It's good practice. It's a good, slow and methodical way to get into the game, because then if it all goes Pete Tong very, very wrong, you have somewhere to come back to that is safe, that you can either build back up from, or compose your thoughts from, or calm yourself down. That is a myth, Kaylee Cat. I could disprove that, but I can tell you now that, and many a player could tell you, and don't worry, you're not the first person who said that. I don't know who put that misinformation out there, but somebody did, and it is completely wrong. It doesn't matter how much you kill in this level, Gabe can still spawn Banshees and Cupids. The reason why I think people are confused is because it is, if you play Gabriel right, a lot of people don't know why he spawns things. The reason why he spawns things is because of his plunging attack. So yeah, he does. It would be I'll wait for Kaylee Cat to say that. No, that's cool. Don't as I say, don't worry, Kaylee, that it's something that I am happy to dismiss, and you're not the first person to say it, and you won't be the last. I can tell you now that I have cleared Paradise Lost a million times. Yeah, let's say 1 million. I have cleared Paradise Lost top to bottom 1 million times, and I could make Gabriel spawn more. It would be like saying that. See, I don't want to say it, right? Okay, the following information is not true and is completely false. It would be like saying, dangerous situation. I'll take that follow me. It would be like saying that. We'll deal with this one first because he's outside the bubble. It would be like saying that if you didn't deal with all the Cupids in the Asmodeus battle, he would be able to spawn more Cupids. That's not the case. The boss is responsible for the spawns, not the level. Same with, say, Anakin. He spawns his minions regardless. The reason why people are confused, I think, is because Gabriel, to do his slam attack, he has to have floor underneath him. By accident, you can make sure that he does not have floor underneath him. Ergo, he cannot do his ground attack. Ergo, people seeing him have minions during the boss fight is quite rare. And so what people do, I do this as well, I try and find cause and effect of everything in this fucking game, it seems sometimes. This is a bad situation. That made it right. So this is a note out. I got surprised by that Cupid. I'm binning out of that. Thank you very much. She'll teleport straight down my throat, and the archer will probably teleport back here. Oh, hello. That's a different archer. There he is. So, careful play, like I was saying. Being slow and steady and careful play is a very useful thing. Knowing the position and layout of every enemy when they can move and teleport is helpful, will take time and will happen naturally, but is not as important as I would have said. I would have said being slow and careful and knowing how enemies react are fundamental steps in preserving life. There you go. Probably put a 2020 under that and say, put a Silverton Devil says something along those lines. We'll get that volley in a minute. So I know. Hey. Yeah, no worries. I'm happy to clear anything up and dispel anything like that, because like again, I cannot remember who said it, but I made a point of quashing it quite quickly. I think it was just some random dude on the Discord, and then it got off of there, and basically the rumor was, if you don't take an amulet with you, again, this is not true because I don't want to be quoted, oh, Silver Tongue Devil said, somebody said on, I think, on the Discord, and then it spread quite like rapid fire onto the Facebook, like wildfire rather, onto the Facebook, that if you did not take an amulet with you, if you did not equip an amulet, if you did, okay, so a low battery, so we'll probably get to the end of this and call it. Yeah, one of the things, and again, as I said, and I'll stipulate again and again, this is not true. I've asked, Super Bright have told me, Beanie has told me, because he can look at these things because they're recently programmed things. But someone mentioned that if you did not take an amulet with you, by taking an amulet with you would decrease your drop rate of everything, and that is just not the case. Right, we'll look across there. Those are not great shots. That's probably where that archer's going to go, but we want to be a bit careful because they can get some really good angles. That was probably within my gaze. Oh, hello, that's lovely. Right, we'll I'll do a bit more talking and be a bit more careful on these last bits, then we'll go and have a shot, see what I've got to look forward to, and we'll go from there. Concentrate on what we were doing, then finish off the new threat. Good, good. Remember, I've got a quiver, muster it. So in this situation, I now know I have got quivers to burn. So again, I could do one of two things. I could conserve my quivers. The thing is, when it's so possibly Sean, but I don't think so in this game. I think a lot of people try and find cause and effect. Hell, I've said things in the past and I've been wrong, not massively, or not enough for it to matter. Like, for instance, look at, I mean, I'll give you a good example because I always want to counter. It's a good argument. People do want to sound smart by saying things that sound smart or that they know more than other people. Here's a good one. Our best testing from, I think this was a combination of, I mean, I never really tested it, but the information come from For the Right, who is an amazing player and has got such a legacy within this game. He's done a lot for us. I don't think people really do it maliciously. Hello, Ikion. Hey, Sean, it's a good way to be, but sometimes people just want an answer, and giving them the wrong one is not the way to do it, obviously. But yeah, as an example, so for a long time, me and most of the IDU crew, and this is down to a few people, and I, be honest, I never tested it. I just said, oh yeah, well that works, so that fits. The testing was when we were looking at the executioner bonus, and we used to think, and you will see videos of me saying this, oh, Tempest, no, trainee arrow, we don't need trainee arrows. If you're new to the game, use that arrow, it is amazing. But be prepared to lose it eventually because it becomes useless. We used to think that Executioner worked along the lines of kind of like the combo system in Siege, which is a reasonable guess and assumption to make because they might use one system from one thing in another. So we used to think that per shot added, put the timer back to 5 seconds. And so if we could keep the shots between 5 seconds, then, you know, we were scoring the Executioner. Now we know that it starts off with a 10-second clock and adds a timer. The problem was the system that we thought it was incorrect, gave us the same results or near as damn it. And so, you know, you can only explain what you can explain, and you can only understand what you can see. And people are all for making systems and graphs and limits and lines and everything. So what we're going to do here, because I'm going to be coming off shortly, normally I would leave that quiver, I would use those other 15 hands of God in the rest of that level, and then we would come back and get that. However, I think I might forget about that quiver. So if I'm going to forget about it, I'm going to end up losing it. So I might as well take it. That, ladies and gentlemen, is bad play. If I was going to carry on, I would clear all of that, use judicious amounts of Hand of God, and then come back for that quiver. However, I am hoping to be redeemed. Oh, I don't need a Blood of the Lamb. I may even do the same with that one, but I can see one there and I don't need life. However, I am hoping to be redeemed because Paradise Lost always has a quiver. Paradise Lost always... Okay, well, no quiver this time then. Paradise Lost usually has a quiver. But yeah, there you go. So, the only thing... So, based on what we were doing last time, I do have an inkling. To try and use Shrapnel Blast again. Yeah, I mean, I do the same as well, Econ, but it's a bit boring for people on the stream, so I'm just trying to keep things going a bit faster. Yes. No. So, you're not 100% completed yet, Kat, and you're not going for, like, you know, you're not playing in cycle 10 or 12 or beyond. I can tell you now that Tempest is an amazing arrow. Let's save this before my headset kicks out. So, right, there we go. So we're halfway through Paradise Lost. I've been doing a lot of talking tonight. Hopefully you guys have taken plenty from it, because we haven't got very far, but we've done so very carefully and not lost any life in Paradise Lost, which isn't bad. So right, let's rest in Sanctuary. Tempest is a great arrow. Tempest is a great arrow whilst you are learning. It is a great arrow to put Gabriel down. In particular, Gabriel. Headshots on Gabriel with a Tempest. Remember to aim slightly higher than you think. And you can bring Gabriel, who can be a pain in the ass of a boss if you aren't fighting him correctly or don't have Hand of God. Can be a pain in the ass to bring down. Tempest is also really good. Right, so what you got to ask yourself is, what is Tempest doing for you? Is Tempest an arrow that you absolutely need, or is Tempest an arrow that is covering your inaccuracies at long range? And I will tell you now, the sad truth is that a Tempest is an arrow that is covering your inaccuracy at medium to long range, because Tempest is a great arrow for dealing with things far away, because it has that nice massive hitbox and it takes things down. Does that mean you are bad for using it? Not at all. I used Tempest for ages. My quiver used to be Tempest, Hand of God, Cat 5, I think. And the Cat 5 replaced Wrath of God, because Wrath of God is another arrow that becomes quite redundant quite quickly. A big problem with Wrath is it kicks out a lot of damage early cycles, but later on in the game, it's not doing enough damage. And most importantly, it does not stagger enemies. Azure's Wrath, I have said before that it isn't too bad an arrow. I'm not going to say it's better than Wrath, because it's not. But Azure's Wrath, at least when it is fleeting between things, it doesn't do a lot of damage, but it does stagger enemies. Does that mean take Azure's Wrath over other arrows? Not at all. Azure's Fury. There's so many Wrath arrows in this game. But Azure's Fury does have a use in that as it is traveling around enemies, it is staggering them. Popping that into one next to you that then staggers a load around you and then maybe takes a Cupid out is better than firing a Wrath of God into the air and it half-healthing all those same enemies, but them still getting chance to hit you, slice you, fire arrows at you, or what have you. So, but these are all things that we will talk about in another exciting episode of IDU. So yeah, we'll carry on from Paradise Lost. I'll try and spend less time yammering and more time getting into things. I may even go up to, so I can play a little bit in my own time, I may go as far as Beginning. No, because you guys want to see Abyss, don't you? No, I'll leave this here and we'll do some stuff on Saturday. Anyway, thank you very much for grinning and bearing with me testing the stream. I think the bone conduction headsets were a sweet success. Thank you very much all for joining me. Good night.